Hi everyone, it's Xiao here. Um, Today I'm going to go through with you the first part of me assembling the 3D printer. So this is the first part. I think it's chapter 2. So basically, you try to assemble the parts that make the y-axis work. So what is the y-axis? Y-axis is the axis that allows the plates to move forward and backward. So you can see here, before I was doing any assembling, I was trying to level my desk. So as you all know, all houses, they are not perfectly level. So hence your furniture will not be level. So what I was trying to do is I cut some bow sticks, like sticky clay, okay, and then I use that to as a, as a wedge to level the desk surface. So I use a digital level to help me to do that. So I measure the levelness of the length of the desk, and also measure the levelness in the direction of the width. So it was quite it takes a bit of work to do that, but at the end of the leveling process, the desk is still not perfectly level. But I guess you try your best. Otherwise, when you try to assemble the whole thing, as you can see later on, you will make the process a bit harder. Okay. So I was doing that. It took me quite a while to do that. At the end, I think I achieved around 0.1 degrees in both direction. Okay. Then I start to go through the menu. It's a very thick menu. Uh, Actually, it's not a menu. It's a documentation to show you how to assemble the whole thing. Okay. And to be honest with you guys, to assemble the 3D printer uh, could take a lot of time. So if you really don't have the time, I would recommend you buy the whole thing. Yeah, so it's not easy to do. As you can see later, because with this 3D printer, a lot of the parts they were 3D printed. So the parts can vary slightly, and it can make the assembling process quite hard. For example, a common problem for me was to put this a nut for the bolts into a hole that's in the 3D printing parts. Because the 3D printing parts vary slightly, sometimes it's really hard to put the, the bolts, not the bolts, or the nuts inside that small hole. It can take very long time to do. Okay. So at the moment, I'm trying to assemble the frame. The frame basically consists of a a steel square, okay, and 4 aluminium extrusion parts, okay, and then there's a front steel plate and back steel plates, and that's about it, okay. And also, if you are going to buy this printer, when you assemble the printer, I would recommend you to follow the manual diligently. If you don't follow that, for example, when you assemble this frame, the the sequence you tighten up the screws can affect the final the shape of the frame, because if you assemble the screws in a different sequence from the manual, there might be unbalanced forces that exerted on the frame. So at the end, your frame will not be level. So that's another headache that I was facing. I mean, I try to adhere to the manual as close as possible, but still, maybe initially when I tried to assemble the aluminum extrusion, I I didn't follow the sequence exactly. Maybe I tightened the screws prematurely. Okay, and at the end I found out the printer was just not level, and one leg one leg was wrong, maybe 1 millimeter um, um, away from the plane that was formed by other 3 legs. Yeah, and it took me a while to adjust. The way I adjust that is by unscrewing all the screws and then try to follow the menu as close as possible. So basically, you need to, what the manual suggests is that you first try to tighten the screws in diagonal direction. Okay, you first tighten the diagonal and then another diagonal, and then move on to the next set. So anyway, it took me a while, quite a long time, at least more than an hour, to readjust the screws. At the end, I was able to reduce that unlevelness to around 0.2 millimeters. The way I measure the distance is by putting 2 A4 sheets underneath the leg that was a bit higher, and then I use a caliper to measure the thickness of 2 A4 papers, 2 pieces of A4 papers. So it was around 0.2 millimeters. So you just need to follow it very closely. But even you do that, maybe at the end you might not be level. So that's why it's so important you try to assemble the whole thing on a level surface. So by doing that, you might able to improve the levelness of the frame. As you can see, I filmed the whole thing, but while trying to edit, so because the formats it reduced a bit, it didn't show you I was working on the frame. So I was trying to assemble the 2 long aluminum extrusion pieces. Okay. this part it would it was fairly easy to do, not that hard. Just that even though you assemble the whole thing, it might not be level. And but the manual says they can allow maximum 2 mm of unlevelness. So the machine can, when the machine prints parts, it can adjust the unevenness of the surface somehow, so maybe through software. But I guess, or even the manual says, it's better to achieve the as level as possible when you try to assemble the frame. It was not easy to do. It was quite hard. I mean, you can finish assembling the whole thing within 1 day, but I think it might be better to spread out the process to multiple days, so it so you have some rest. It's quite demanding.